Welcome to the NBA Pub Hub for Tuesday, June 8th. Ian Cameron, Skee Prophet, Dutch Boy Fresh, and we will have our boy Conor Mac joining us momentarily as well. He's just running a little late, but he'll be with us later on in the show. We're ready for this Tuesday NBA playoff slate. 2 games on tap, Atlanta, Philadelphia. The Sixers looking to bounce back on their home floor after a disappointing start to game 1, and they never could recover. They'll play game 2 tonight, Hawks and the Sixers. And then we've got game 1 of the LA Clippers and the Utah Jazz in the West semifinal. Game 1 tonight. Mike Conley not playing tonight for the Utah Jazz. We'll get into that more later in the show. Last night, I fell for it. Hook, line, and sinker. The Milwaukee Bucks are trending in the wrong direction in the postseason yet again, and it happened last night. Just never in the game from the first quarter onward. Ugly night for the Bucks. Ugly night again for them, pretty much offensively. They did shoot better. We said they wouldn't shoot 20% from 3. Yeah, they shot just a little bit better than that, like 25, 26% from 3 last night. But that's not the story. The story is their defense has been absolutely dreadful. They cannot contain Brooklyn. They cannot guard. They cannot get out to shooters quick enough. And there's too many good looks at the basket right now for this Brooklyn team. And that's been the problem for Milwaukee. They just got to get tougher. Physically tougher, mentally tougher, play some defense. Haven't done that, and they're down 2-0 in that series. The other game last night, Phoenix Suns, Denver Nuggets. Great basketball game. First half, back and forth. Give the Nuggets credit. Porter, Jokic, great first half. Or even Campazzo was hitting some big shots for them as well. And then in the second half, the Phoenix Suns turned it into another gear defensively. Booker got going in the second half. Jay Crowder's knocking down shots. Huge night from Mikal Bridges. Props to Dutch for that prop. Excellent job. Over 11.5 points. Got there easily. My Jay Crowder look got there easily as well. Or not easily, but we had to wait until the fourth quarter. But it got there on Jay Crowder as well. He had a good game in the fourth quarter, putting that prop to bed. And the Suns put the Nuggets to bed in the fourth quarter. And Chris Paul, man, what a fourth quarter. He had just making great plays, making big shots. He actually looked like with that little move he made, that little juke move to lay it up at the rim and get the and one. He looked like he was 28 years old again, Chris Paul. He's got the energy and adrenaline of a young man right now, Chris Paul. I think we can stop talking about his injury. He looks fine to me, and the Phoenix Suns look fine to me taking game 1 against the Denver Nuggets. Skee, we'll start off with you. What were your thoughts on the 2 games played last night?
The Nets are going to be hard to stop. They're shooting 50, 40, 90 as a team. And that's I don't even know if there's another team I know that has done that. So that's crazy to me. Bucks, I guess they're reverting back to the same old Bucks we've seen the past few years. We thought it would be maybe a little different. Maybe they could show some fight. You never know. They're going back home. Hopefully it's not like this for a whole series, because this is a series that at least I was looking forward to. So we'll see if they can bounce back on their home court, but not looking good. It looks like it's going to be a cakewalk for the Nets this year. And the next game, for majority of the game, I'm sitting there like, damn, why didn't I bet the Nuggets? And then I'm like, oh, okay, that's why I didn't bet the Nuggets. But I got there with the over. I was happy to do that. And if the bookmakers keep putting the number really short like that, I might continue to keep going over.
Yeah, it seemed like Denver, and they followed through on the vow from Michael Malone that they wanted to push pace at every opportunity. You could tell they were bringing that ball right down the court. And even Phoenix, we heard Monty Williams talk during the game, even Chris Paul, that we wanted to get some running opportunities in transition when we had the opportunity. And it definitely had a greater pace to it than normally for the full season. The pace numbers of those 2 teams show. So something to keep an eye on. Very efficient offensively, both teams. We said that going into game 1, and it proved that way last night. Dutch, what did you think of the games last night?
Yeah, real quick shout out to the chat. Appreciate everybody joining us. Eric Chain, I see you in the chat. G said the package has been sent. Man, I appreciate you, my guy. The Hook, everybody. You already know. When it comes to last night, man, it was a little rough for me. Frustrating, really. I'm not going to lie to you. We had over 12.5 rebounds with Giannis. He's got 11 going into the fourth. Doesn't see the court. Drew was right on pace. I believe he's right over 20 on the points, rebounds, and assists. Doesn't see the court in the fourth quarter. So, very frustrating. Milwaukee, I tweeted this out. I mean, they're fucking out. They're being out coached. They're out. The players are, and all the way to the motherfucking water boy. These guys are better than Milwaukee. It's just disgusting to see that we have to sit there and watch a game that we actually expected that was going to be, I mean, for the majority of the part, I want to say most people expected this to be a good series. And just to be a fan, not even a capper, to watch this shit is pretty depressing. So I mean, like I mentioned after game one, I felt like the Bucks lost the series in game one, and all I'm seeing is just more and more to tell me that. Now, when we take a look at Phoenix, man, I feel like this one is really frustrating to me because I feel like I was right on this game, except for I didn't expect the slow start for Phoenix. Excuse me. But, you know, it happened. Second half, everything came around like I thought. You know, we had a huge game from Bridges. You touched on that, Ian. He was filling it in the corner, attacking it as well. Just looked real solid. Crowder was nice. And then, of course, DeAndre Ayton, man. You know, he's eating down low. Give him his touches. He's doing his thing. I expect him to continue. And if we can get under anything around 14 and a half, 15 with DeAndre Ayton, we'll go right back to the well with that dude. We'll stay eating off him. Mentioned Chris Paul. You talked about it briefly, Ian. The guy showed up. I mean, the numbers even look better than I expected, but when it counted, third quarter, fourth quarter, Chris Paul put his name on the game. And that's what I think he'll continue to do in this series. I think it's going to be, you know, 5, maybe 6 Phoenix all day. But I'm excited for today, hoping things will go a little bit more my way, and we'll get that run good back and continue to cash some motherfucking tickets.
Yeah, exactly. That's frustrating, eh? When you like a team, you think they're the right side, they're going to win the game, but you pick the wrong part of the game to bet them. Exactly. Yeah. You had a little bit more first half, and it was the second half they got going. I just like to have one of, like, my best bet was just dreadful. I mean, I like Milwaukee. I mean, I had no shot in that game. I had no shot first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. Didn't matter. Milwaukee was dead to rights early in that game. I'm going to need a good reason to back them again in the next game. Like, I know next game they're going back home, and I know that's going to help. And they played great on their home floor, the Milwaukee Bucks. But, boy, they're going to need more than the home floor if they're going to beat Brooklyn. They need that defense to show up, and it hasn't done that at all so far in this series. Let's get to tonight now. We've got Atlanta and Philadelphia. It's game 2, Eastern semifinals. Atlanta Hawks continue this great start to the postseason. 1-0 series lead. The Sixers trying to bounce back. They are now 6-point home favorites tonight in game 2. The total's been bet up 221.5 up to 224. I'm seeing. So we saw a shootout. Is that what people are reacting to, the way game 1 played out? Because this total has taken a hit up, and I'm not so sure. I do think you're going to get some better defense tonight, especially from the Philadelphia 76ers. That's been all the talk from Rivers and Embiid and Simmons. Everybody on the Sixers team knows they have to play better defensive basketball tonight, so they're not going to want to be involved in an over or a high-scoring game again. The question is, do they have a matchup for Trae Young that works? Because I don't really have a great opinion on this game, side or total. I'm just not assuming that we're going to knee-jerk bet Philadelphia here in this game, because you got to lay 6. You got to lay a bit bigger number than you did in game 1. And Atlanta's just been a red hot. Look, maybe Atlanta's just one of those teams, guys. They're undervalued point spread-wise every game. They have covered all but one game so far in these playoffs. And that's a tough track record to go against when you're getting 6. I mean, Atlanta could play poorly and still hang around, and they could start fouling Ben Simmons down the stretch, and Philly could be up 9 or 10 at that point. And there's backdoor jobs by Young and Bogdanovich and some of these three-point shooters, I should say, by Atlanta. And you're all of a sudden biting your nails with 6 points that you're laying here with Philadelphia. So I do think they'll play better. It is definitely their spot. I understand that, but I'm a little bit hesitant to lay 6 with them. I'd be more interested maybe at first quarter and a first half look with Philadelphia than in the full game. And as far as props go, and I like the under as well. I'm a little surprised the total's been bet up as much as it has. But in terms of props, I'm sticking with Trae Young over 27.5 points. I was looking at it earlier today. He's hit the 30s regularly, and every road playoff game for Atlanta, Trae Young's gotten into the 30s, which tells you he's even more assertive on the road. He probably feels like, hey, I got to look for my shot. I've got to hunt for my shot even more away from home, and he has done that for the Atlanta Hawks. 30 points for him in every road playoff game against the Knicks, and of course in game 1 as well against the Sixers. So that's the prop I really like here, over 27.5 points with Trae. I like Embiid as well, points if I were to pick someone on Philly, over 29.5 points you could make the case that, hey, I'm making the case that he's going to be a lot better tonight. He looked like he was moving around well enough in game one. And now that he's got that game under his belt, I would think you're going to see him be even more aggressive and be even more impactful offensively. So I like Joel Embiid over points, 29.5. I like Trae Young over 27.5. I lean a little to Philly first quarter, first half, and I lean to the under in this game. So that's what I'm looking at here. Skee, how about you? Atlanta, Philly, game 2.
Well, I agree with you on the Trae Young. The number seems like it's not high enough, maybe because, like you said, his average is at least 30 in the playoffs. But I feel like you kind of have to choose between him and Bogdanovich, because Bogdanovich's been killing it too. He's gone over his points, rebounds, assists, 9 of the last 10. So I think he's a solid option. Those are probably the main two I would look for towards Atlanta. And if I did want to squeeze somebody else in there, it would be Collins' assist. He only needs to get one for you to cash, and he's gotten one every time he's played them. So, yeah, I'm looking at those props. As far as the total, I agree with you again completely, Ian, because as soon as the game was over, all I heard from Doc Rivers was talking about defense, saying that everything else was fine. I mean, they shot 55% from the field. You can't allow Atlanta to score 128. So combine that with Philly's, the second best defensive rated team throughout the whole season. I don't think you get a 42-point first quarter from Atlanta again. And I don't think you get 43% three-point shooting from Atlanta again. I like this game to go under if Embiid plays or not. If he doesn't play, it's a bonus. The under is 10-3 without him. So I like the under there. If I have to pick a side, I'll probably take the Sixers first half just because it's a favorite off a loss. They're still at home. And if they're not going to come out and play in the first half, when they're going to come out and play.
Yeah, exactly. First quarter, first half. I'd feel a little bit better than with Philly than full game. And you're right. I like the under here. And I'm not a big under guy, but this makes sense to me. You look at the game so far for Atlanta. 128, 124 is an anomaly for Atlanta in these playoffs. Look at the other scores. 192, 209, 199, 193, 212. I mean, they've gone way under this total. I think we're going to see better defense from Philly. And look, Atlanta's just not going to shoot that well again. And I think even they are not going to like the way they defended in the fourth quarter when they let Philly back into the game. So I think there's even onus on Nate McMillan and the Hawks to get their defense to improve a bit. So I do like the under. What do you think, Skee? Dutch, what do you think here? Hawks Sixers.
Yeah, man. Shout out to my guy, Joe Free. Wyatt, I see y'all, man. Christian, appreciate you. Yeah, when it comes to this game, I'm with you guys on that under. I just want the refs to allow them to play some fucking defense. Really, I mean, we talked about this briefly, but I mean, you put Ben Simmons right on Trae Young, and he touches him, blows in his ear, or blows on him, and gets a foul. It's ridiculous. Like, I mean, yeah, if you're on the over Trae Young props, then I love that. But other than that, I mean, they gotta allow Philly to play some defense on Trae Young specifically. But what I'm looking at here, though, I agree with everything y'all said. I think this is a Philly spot. I really do. I think the numbers kind of got up there a little bit. So if you're betting 6.5 right now, I don't think that's the thing to do realistically. You should have been on this a lot sooner. If you liked Philly, if you like Atlanta, then hey, 6.5, be my guess. But I definitely believe this is a Philly spot. When I look at it, you said Joel Embiid is going to be better than he was in game one. I mean, he had 39, was 12 for 21, and 14 for 15 from the free throw line. So I expect that. If we get better than that, then I'm really liking it. But I love over 29.5. I did drop minus 115. Shop around. It went up to 30.5 in most places. Hopefully, you can still get that 29.5. Embiid will get 35 plus easy tonight. You tell me who's going to stop him, who's going to get in his way. It's pretty much him, and I definitely believe he'll be on the court. Shout out to my guy, Big Zoe. And then when it comes to, I really like this look a lot. Watching Ben Simmons, he's so uncomfortable when he doesn't want to attack, really. He's looking to pass the ball. He definitely wants to pass the ball when it's in his hands. He does not want to be on the free throw line. I actually think I got lucky getting over the 15.5 points in game one, but I love the over 8.5 assists. I look for him. He had 10 in game one. If you're watching him, as soon as anybody gets the ball on Philly, they're looking for to get it to Big Ben and push the ball. I do not see how he doesn't get double-digit assists tonight. I wouldn't be mad at the Trae Young assist as well. It is at 9.5. And, of course, Trae Young with the points. I agree with that, Ian. I just hope that they could put Ben Simmons on him and allow him to play some defense, and I think it will be tough for Trey to get 30. But with the rules, the way it goes, I mean, he should be getting right around that number tonight. And you guys mentioned it. You mentioned Skee mentioned it. Bogdanovich. It's he's been over this number 8 of the last 10 games. I got it at 16.5. It's at 17.5 at most books plus money. I definitely look at him. He had 17. He shot 7 of 17 in game 1 and still dropped 21. To me, he's the most dangerous player on the court besides Trae Young for Atlanta. I think he has confidence. He's played in big moments. So I look for Bogdanovich to get us 20 points tonight as well.
All right, good stuff. Atlanta, Philly, on we go now. Next game, it's
Can I ask you a question real quick before we move on?
Oh, sure.
Both you guys.
Yep.
If Embiid is in, what do you think that does to the total?
If Embiid is in, I'm always on the fence with Embiid because he matters offensively, but he matters defensively as well. So I'm usually neutral on what it does to the total. It wouldn't affect me. I'd still be on the under regardless, personally.
Yeah, I'm only asking because the only reason I didn't take it is because if he's announced in, I was thinking maybe he can go up a little bit and I get a bit more.
I think it goes up. Yeah, definitely. You think Embiid, instantly you think points. You know what I mean? So so people are just going to instantly think there'll be more points on the board, in my opinion.
Yeah. I would, I mean, in terms of when to bet the total, if you think if you think there's going to be a reaction to Embiid's status being confirmed, wait, basically pump the brakes and betting the under.
You don't think he's going to? You think there's a chance he doesn't play, Skee?
Well, he's questionable. Doc Rivers said for the next 4 or 5 games, they got to see how he feels after the game, and they're just going to take it game by game. So,
and shoot around too. Obviously, we're going to see how he fares probably right before tip off, and that's probably when we'll find out for sure. If he's in or not. But that's a good question. Very good. By the way, someone asked about John Collins over 0.5 assists. Well, he does have 2 assists or more in 3 of the last 4 games. So that is on your side. But you do have to lay a price with that. That 0.5 assists, like as you said, minus 160.
It was minus 115 this morning.
Yeah, so it's gone up significantly.
Yeah, man.
There we go. That's what early bird gets the worm, as they always say. That's what you got to be ready to fire on these props because some of them, especially the ones you like, the number's not always going to last where you want it to be. Clippers and Jazz, game 1. We've got the Jazz. They're down to 3-point favorites now here in game 1 of this series. The total 220.5 across the board. And the reaction is to the Mike Conley injury for the Utah Jazz. He's out. This is a game where initially I thought for sure I was going to be on the Jazz here. With the Clippers off a 7-game series against the Mavericks, a hard-fought, intense series, went the distance, and they got a turnaround 2 days later, 48 hours later, playing the thin air altitude of Salt Lake City. I thought for sure a great situational bet here against the Clippers. Now I'm a little bit hesitant with the Conley injury. I'd still lean Utah. Honestly, if you like Utah, wait. You might even get a better line before tip-off and take the Jazz at the best number possible. I still don't love this spot for the Clippers. They have been good on the road. That's the one thing we got to give them credit for. You know, they beat Dallas in game 3, in game 4, and in game 6 in that series. 3-0 straight up, 3-0 against the spread on the road here in the postseason. But they also got off to a bad start in game 1 against Dallas. So yeah, they've been good on the road, but they weren't good in game 1 of a new series. The first time out against the Dallas Mavericks. So that's something you got to worry about a bit. So I still lean to Utah, even without Conley. That's the side I would lean to. I lean to the over a little bit as well, 220.5 in this game. I just remember the Clippers having a hard time defensively in game 1. It's like they took a game or 2 to get their defense figured out. You could see that here tonight. I like props more than anything. And this is Donovan Mitchell time. Points over, assists over. I like the assists especially because guess what? With Conley out, I think you got to get some of your other teammates involved. I think that's important for Donovan Mitchell tonight. So I'm on 3 Donovan Mitchell props: over points, over assists, and over points and assists, the combo of the 2. I'm on all 3 of those with Donovan Mitchell tonight because I found he's been a willing passer in recent games when Mike Conley has not been on the floor next to him in the lineup. So I find the assists go up for Mitchell in these kind of spots. So that's what I'm looking at here. Mitchell over points, Mitchell over assists, Mitchell over points and assists tonight for the Dallas Mavericks in this one. Clippers, I don't have a huge feel on their props tonight, what they're going to end up doing. Overall, maybe you would take Reggie Jackson just because he keeps on feeling it game in and game out. He's the Clipper that stands out to me if you're going to take a Clipper in terms of player props tonight. But I like Mitchell a lot. Over points, over assists, and over P&A as well. Skee, what's your thoughts here? Game 1, Clippers and Jazz.
You know, I don't love this game at all. I mean, initially I was just like you. I think like Clippers coming off that long series, you know, coming into altitude. But I don't know. The more I think about it, I think Jazz been sitting there for a while. They could be a bit rusty, and I mean we've seen that with a few teams after sitting for a while. They just don't look good. And the Clippers, they won a few games in a row. You know, they kind of got their swag back. They're feeling good right now, and know that they don't want to fall behind. So I would look maybe towards the Clippers early, like a first half look. And I do think the longer the game goes, it favors the Jazz. So probably Jazz full game. And that's just how I see it going.
That's a fair point, you know, that they've been sitting a while. This isn't just a little bit of rest for Utah. This is a lot of rest now since they wrapped up their series against Memphis, to the point where rust and not being sharp or crisp early in the game, it could creep into their performance tonight. And I actually went back and looked too, and this is another thing that has held me off Utah here, not just Conley's absence, but their ATS record with extended rest. It's not good. It really isn't for this Utah team. So that concerned me, and that's what pretty much talked me out of taking them here in game 1. So all of a sudden we go from what it looked like a home run spot a couple days ago, me liking Utah here, and now I don't really want much to do with it. Dutch, what do you think here? Interesting game 1, LA and Utah.
Yeah, real quick, if everyone take a second, hit the like button for me, Ian, and Skee, and our guy C-Mac, who's not here. We muchly appreciate it. 1 second, hit the motherfucking like button, just like I'm hitting this gelato plane. Get you right where you need to be. Now, that being said, this game to me, I like Skee as well. I think he was kind of in the same area, Ian. This to me game has a lot of question marks on it. And Mike Conley being out, to me, I thought it would be a Utah spot. Kind of thought, Clippers being tired of a 7-game series, maybe patting themselves on the back a little bit after getting through Dallas. But I like what I seen on the Clippers, especially towards the end with Luke Kennard and Marcus, the Morris brother, him coming on as well. It looks like, Reggie Jackson as well. It looks like the role players for the Clippers are actually, playing well. But when I look at this game, I'm going to stay off. I've had a little trouble with the first games in the series so far in the second round, So I'm going to look at props, and I look at Kawhi Leonard. I think we're getting a solid number here. If anybody's playing some of the best basketball right now, it's definitely Kawhi Leonard. I think if you look at matchup-wise, you tell me who's going to stop him on Utah. I mean, they have O'Neal. He's too small for him. Ingles, all these guys, but they're all too small for Kawhi and too slow for him. I mean, obviously, when he goes to the hole, he'll have to worry about Rudy, but he knows what to do. I believe Kawhi Leonard will get easily over 27.5 points. I really like this number. In the last game he played against Utah, he had 29. But to me, Kawhi has been on cruise control all year. He's looking to take it up a step right now, as we've seen against Dallas, and I believe he will do in Utah. Now, from a Utah perspective, we're going to go right back to the well with O'Neal. Royce O'Neal, we're going to go over 1.5 threes. This is plus money. If you've been watching the show, we ate off him against the Grizzlies. He went over this number 3 out of the 4, and he's went over this number 2 out of the 3 in the 3 games they played against the Clippers this year. If your book doesn't offer the 3-pointers, I definitely like the threes because it's plus money, but you can also get over 6.5 points for him. I don't mind that as well, but I'm definitely locking in over 1.5 threes at plus money. So, and over under, I have a feeling that the Clippers could be tired, so I would probably look under here. But realistically, this game to me, I want to sit back and watch. I expect Kawhi to get off due to the matchup and as locked in as he is at this time. And then, of course, O'Neal has been cashing for us, so why not go back to that?
Yeah, that's the great thing about the made threes prop. The made threes prop with the Utah Jazz, that's a good team to bet 3-pointers made because they shoot a shit ton of them every single game. So you're going to get a lot of attempts with a lot of these players on the Utah Jazz. They just shoot a ton of threes. And you're right, that's a reasonable price. Plus price on that, over 1.5 on Royce. Wow.
Yeah.
Royce O'Neal of the Jazz. Oh.
This reminds me of Mikal Bridges, just real quick, Ian. Like, we got plus money on him, and then all of a sudden now it's minus 160 now. I guarantee that this shit will be minus 125, 140. They'll catch on, but we're on them. They haven't caught on yet, so let's take advantage of that shit.
That's a great idea. Like, you're right. You're catching on to Royce O'Neal, shooting more threes, making more threes in the short term. Books haven't adjusted, still hanging 1.5 at a plus number. Absolutely. This is the time. This is when that value's there. Get on it, because if it cashes again tonight, maybe in game 2, you're going to see the price get adjusted finally. You're going to all of a sudden see 1.5 with juice. Maybe you're going to get a 2.5 later in this series. Who knows? Yeah. But anytime you get a 1.5 with a 3-pointer prop on a Utah player, I'm never going to say, yeah, don't bet it over. Not with this group. They just shoot so many. They're such a high volume 3-point shooting team that you could go with a bunch of them, whether it's Ingles, O'Neal, whether it's Clarkson. You go on down the list, obviously Donovan. There's just so many different guys that hit the 3 ball for this team. So that's a good one at a plus price there. Royce O'Neal over 1.5 threes tonight. Clippers Jazz game 1. It is a tricky game. So this is one of those games for me. I'm more than anything from a side and a totals perspective. I'm just going to really observe it. And whatever happens tonight, we use that and make a good side or total bet for game 2. That's definitely what I'm looking to do here for Clippers and Jazz tonight. Great analysis from Skee and Dutch. Connor, we thought he would be joining us later on. Maybe not, but that's all right. If he can't join us today, he'll be back, I'm sure, tomorrow. We will get to best bets. We will get to Dutch's freshest look in just a second. Before we do that, though, we'll pause for messages from Manscaped and Southtown 101. Roll it. All right, when you're in San Antonio, Texas, and you want a good meal with some live music, a little DJ, a little karaoke action as well, check out Southtown 101. Stop in San Antonio, Texas, and visit them. Check out Manscaped promo code Pub Sports. I've just noticed the last few days, I mentioned this earlier on the MLB show, the Lawnmower 4.0 just released by Manscaped. Their newest product. And it's obviously, they had 3.0, 4.0. You're getting an advanced version of that lawnmower. So there's a reason to check out Manscaped. Take advantage of the 20% off with your order by using the promo code Pub Sports and mybookie.ag, promo code Pub Sports, NHL playoffs, NBA playoffs, Major League Baseball daily. We got U.S. Open golf, the third major next weekend on Father's Day weekend, the annual tradition. Looking forward to that. We're all looking forward to football season. And look, we got to start thinking about it. We got to start getting ready for it. It's 2 months away when we'll have our first NFL preseason game. So now's a good time to lock in an account with mybookie.ag, Bitcoin accepted currency for your deposit. So check out mybookie.ag and use the promo code Pub Sports. All right, it is that time of the show that you're all waiting for. Best bets, Dutch's freshest look. Let's get to it. Skee, I can't have a worse best bet than yesterday with the Milwaukee Bucks. I have nowhere to go but up from here. Skee Profit, what do you think here tonight here? Best bet.
Yeah, I'll go back to the first game, and I really wanted to wait and just get the best of the number, but I see a 224.5 maybe at a couple places. I'll take the under between the Hawks and the Sixers. I see a lot of defense today. That's all Doc Rivers talked about. So that's what I'll look to play.
All right, there we go. Under 224, Atlanta, Philadelphia for game 2 tonight's best bet for Skee Profit. Maybe hold off on betting it, though. You might be able to squeeze out another half point to a point of value before tip-off, but we think this total is going in the wrong direction. We'll see if that's the case. Under 224, Atlanta, Philly, best bet for Skee Profit. All right, Dutch, freshest look.
Yeah, man. The freshest look. We're going to stay in Philly. And I do believe there will be some defense played, but it will not be on this guy. Ain't nobody stopping Joel Embiid. Going over 29.5 points. Easy money. 30.5. Don't ask me. Yes, we like it. Lock that shit in. Joel Embiid over points all day, early and often.
All right, there you go. Joel Embiid over 29.5 points. Freshest look here for Dutch with that game between the Sixers and the Phillies, and a big game for Joel Embiid tonight. I'm going to go with the, let me see. I just want to make sure I've got the right number. I'm going player prop tonight for best bet in the Clippers and Jazz game. I just want to make sure I've got the right. I'm going to give you two, for best bet, and they're both Donovan Mitchell. I'm going to go with just assists for Donovan Mitchell. Just assists, which is currently 6.5, minus 115, over 6.5, minus 115, Donovan Mitchell. And I'm also going to go points and assists for Donovan Mitchell as well, over 35.5 for points and assists. I like both of those. There you go. 2-player prop best bets for me. Donovan Mitchell over 35.5 points and assists, and over 6.5 assists. Donovan Mitchell in that Clippers Jazz game 1. That'll be my best bet for tonight. And that'll wrap up this edition of the NBA Pub Hub. We'll get Conor back. Maybe that Cox internet got to him again.
Yeah.
Right? Hey, Dutch, you know what you're talking about here. But
I'll take that, actually. I believe that's what happened. Real talk. Either that or this bullshit Vegas traffic. Somebody speeding, trying to go somewhere too fast, but yeah,
hey, I know all about that Vegas traffic too. I mean, the times I visited there, it's taken me like a half hour to get from one end of the town to the other in a cab before.
Yeah, in this heat, people be driving crazy. They trying to go somewhere like that, like the casino ain't gonna be there or some shit. It's insane. But don't worry, they ain't going nowhere. They'll be here.
The casino ain't going anywhere. Casinos haven't gone anywhere in Las Vegas for 60 years or centuries even. They're not going anywhere today either. I agree with you there. Slow down, drive with some, exactly. Drive properly. That's all we ask. And Cox Cable, get your shit together.
He said, "Hey, Cox, woo-woo." Yeah. He on point with that one.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. All right. Awesome show, guys. Awesome Dutch. Awesome Skee. Good stuff as always. We'll be back tomorrow, Wednesday, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific for another edition of the NBA Pub Hub right here on Pub Sports Radio. For Skee Profit, for Dutch Boy Fresh, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Tuesday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. We'll see you tomorrow on Wednesday right here on the NBA Pub Hub. Dutch, take us home.
Yeah, man. You know what it is. It's Pub Sports Radio. Be sure to like and subscribe. Share this video with your friends and fam. Real talk, share this one with that motherfucker that owes you money, because we getting paid. Y'all stay fresh, stay blessed. Let's stay putting these motherfucking bookies to rest.
We be pubbing. Let's get it. Let's go.